calorie-wise, about 150 grams of carbs, but I'm gonna start to have to drop that down.
Wait till he finds out that the fiber that he's eating actually has 50% of the calories as carbs. They're all lying to you. Coach Greg, in today's video, we're going to be going over Sam's new shopping list as he prepares for his next bodybuilding competition. He's going to tell us exactly what he's buying, and I've already watched the video, and I do have many concerns. The food industry, it loves to lie to you, and they have in fact lied to Sam. They've fooled him. I'm going to educate you on what's actually going on in the food industry in order to help you to understand exactly how many calories you're actually eating.
Nothing's going to replace the protein. That's simply a staple, bulking up or cutting down.
Bulking up or cutting down, he still has protein as a staple. Minimum 250 grams of protein. He wants at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight.
I'm still going to be eating 250 grams of protein from dedicated protein sources. You know, be it ground beef, eggs, chicken, and sometimes canned.
And so the difference in the types of protein that he's consuming is that now that he's on a cut, he wants them to be leaner. Less grams of fat, leaner cuts of meat, leaner dairy, less egg yellows, and so on.
If I'm trying to eat only 2,200 calories for the whole day, halfway throughout the day, I want to be at 1,100 or less.
And so he's only wanting to eat 2,200 calories, but little does he know that the nutrition labels, they lie. He's clearly eating more than what he thinks is his 2,200 calories, and I in fact will explain why.
Like, I'm pretty much locked in with the diet, but if I set myself up for failure, then the likelihood of failure begins to increase.
Now remember, Sam is pretty dedicated. But even Sam, he doesn't want to go too long without eating food. He has half of his calories by half of the day. He doesn't save up calories to eat at night. He doesn't want to be tempted. He doesn't want to binge.
It's always been a little bit of a staple in my dieting phases to hit a low-calorie turkey sandwich. Insert the terrible studies about the nitrates of a deli turkey.
Now, Sam is a fan of deli meat. I myself also consume deli meat. I don't think it's a big deal, considering there are so many worse things that people are doing. If the worst thing in your diet is the fact that you're eating chicken breast slices as deli meat in comparison to what you probably are eating right now, which is fast food, fried food, and so on, it's not all that bad.
Small pit stop by the beef. So what I'm really aiming for is top rounds. Big cut, lean, which I guess that's really all I'm looking for. Big cut and lean.
And so for Sam steaks, he's looking for the leanest cuts of meat. For example, tenderloin, top round sirloin. Steaks oftentimes have more calories in the fat than they do in fact have in the proteins. And so if you're just eating regular T-bone steaks, medium ground beef, not low fat and so on, you're going to be consuming far more calories than you think. And even in your chickens, for example, the chicken breast versus the thighs, far more grams of fat in the thigh and the brown meat. And so please be more cautious than last time.
So a little anecdote here. What are we looking at there? 92%, whereas right here, 96% lean.
And what it says 92% lean, which sounds pretty lean, but what it actually means is 8 grams out of every 100 grams is actually fat. In 1 pound, that equates to 36 grams of fat. That's a lot. 16 ounces, 36 grams of fat. And so if you had a regular serving, he says he eats half of it at a time, 8 ounces, that's 18 grams of fat. Sam doesn't want that, and so he's choosing 96% lean. That has exactly half the grams of fat as 92%. You're thinking 92 to 96, it's not a big difference. It's literally double the grams of fat. And so in each meal, instead of consuming 18 grams of fat, it's actually only going to be 9. 9 times 7 is 63, and so he's saving 63 calories per meal by choosing the leaner cuts of ground beef. A quick tidbit here in Canada, primarily it's 90% is known as extra lean. Does it sound extra lean? Lean ground beef at 85%, regular at 80%, and you can quickly, if you did the math, see just how fatty hamburger really is here in Canada.
And of course, once you strain these, most of that fat is going to come off anyway, so it's not like you're really screwed either way. But it does help.
If you can't find your leanest cuts of steak, it's important to strain it. I've described this in videos in the past, and what does that involve? It literally means you run it under a sink. You pretend it's kind of like pasta. You drain out the fat, and some people have criticized me. Yeah, but you're removing the taste. Why do you think that is? You're removing the fat. Fat tastes good, but you're making it significantly lower in calories. And so, yeah, a lot of people like dark meat more than chicken breast because there's extra fat. And they also like a T-bone steak and regular ground beef more than the extra lean. It's because of the fat. The fat adds flavor, but it also adds calories. And so if you're trying to cut, you gotta remove it.
I can't help myself but grab a goddamn Kraft single. And I'm only getting one. So that shows you a little bit about how frequently I'm eating these.
With cheese, it's this simple. Get fat-free cheese slices. Fat-free is gonna have no fat and therefore no added calories coming from fat. That's the easiest way. It really is that simple.
Just sort of adds a little something extra to everything.
And so here in Canada even, we have fat-free cheese slices. Per slice, it's around 25 to 35 calories, depending on where you get it from. But and ranges from 0 to 0.2 grams of fat. Very low fat, very low in calories, an excellent addition to your meal.
It's probably not your best protein, all right, but it's still protein nonetheless, and it will be tracked in my daily caloric values.
And so, of course, you track the protein that comes from cheese. If you consume, for example, milk, you're going to track that protein. For example, I have Fairlife milk. There's 14 grams of protein per cup, only 80 calories. And so you don't just track protein coming from meat sources. Many people, they seem to believe this. There is protein even in fruits and vegetables, dairy products, and so on. Absolutely. And so count everything. Every gram of protein, it does add up. Considering there's 3 grams of fat, and if he only has 3 slices of cheese per day, that's an extra 9 grams of fat times 9 calories per gram. That's 80 extra calories. That is a lot. Considering he saved 60 calories by choosing the leaner cut of steak, and now he could have saved 90 calories by choosing a leaner cheese, that's already 150 calories. You see how this quickly adds up.
Egg whites, and for the longest time, for whatever reason, I thought it was better to sit and individually separate every egg yolk from every egg white.
And so imagine thinking you have to separate every single egg yolk from the white. It's not 1994 when Coach Greg first started competing. Remember, I'm 49, I'm pushing 50 keys of testosterone across the border. You've probably already heard by now that I have the only testosterone that's actually legit in the entirety of the fitness industry. It's been third-party tested against my competitors, and they lie to you. This is from the plant Ajuga turkestanica. The others, it's from some bullshit copycat, and it didn't have testosterone. Well, it had some, about 1% of label claim, while we had 140% of label claim. And so why do you think I keep telling you to get testosterone from Coach Greg? Money back guarantee and a $20 gift card. And so if you're looking to make actual gains with real testosterone, you know where to get it. Code Greg, 15% off.
You're wasting egg yolks, you're wasting time, you're causing a mess. It's just foolish.
Back in the day, there were no egg white cartons. You couldn't do this. I had to do all of this. It was a nightmare. So much of my time has gone into cracking open egg whites, deshelling them, and so on. And so much easier in 2024. Purchase the egg white containers and save yourself some time. Now, I would like to point out how he's not buying whole eggs. He's not eating a bunch of egg yolks. And why do you think that is? It's not because there's no nutritional value in the egg yolk. It's because there's far more calories. 75 calories per egg, approximately 16 those calories come from the egg white. The remaining 60, it's from the yolk. And so why not avoid eating the yolk and just stick to the egg whites? It's more filling, you get more protein, going to be easier to stick to your diet. That's why I've been preaching this for over 30 years.
It's just a blank slate. So I'll do teriyaki sauce, I'll throw like mustard onto there.
And so Sam, he doesn't want a boring diet. It's not just going to put on some pepper and salt. You can put a variety of things. For example, you could put low-calorie ketchup. You could put Guy's barbecue sauce. You could put on mustard. You could dip it in Greek yogurt. But if you really want to make some fancier meals, you want a delicious diet that you can follow for the rest of your life, you know what it's all about. Coach Greg's Cookbook 3.1, absolutely amazing PDF hard copy. Get it on the website, Code Greg, 15% off.
Get some of the low-carb tortillas. And the benefit of these, same thing.
So here's the thing with the low-carb breads, wraps, tortillas, bagels, and so on. They're all lying to you. Well, what I mean is they're mislabeling the amount of calories your body's going to get from the foods that you're eating.
What you can do is you can manipulate the fiber. Underneath of every carbohydrate value, which right there, it says 19 grams, is a separate value which says dietary fiber, and this specifically the insoluble portion.
And so what you think is the correct math is they take 19 grams of carbs minus 17 from fiber, it leaves 2 grams of actual carbs, times 4 calories per gram, it leaves you with 8. The problem is they're not reporting the calories in the fiber. They want you to believe that fiber is some magical nutrient that the body just simply cannot absorb, that there's no calories, nutrition, nothing in the fiber. Now, I know we're not cows. We don't have multiple stomachs, and we can't get the same amount of calories from eating fiber as a cow. But we can, in fact, get some, and that depends on the type of fiber. Now, unless it's labeled as resistant starch 4 or RS4, there are going to be calories in that fiber. Just think of resistant starch fiber as fiber calories that are resistant to being digested. Your body can't use it. Kind of like if I went outside with a fork and knife and tried to eat a tree stump, it wouldn't get the calories from it. My body, it just can't do that. But when they make breads and so on, they're not using these fibers. They're using fibers that you can actually get calories from. And especially this, when you heat up these fibers, when you put it in the microwave, you make it that much easier for your body to absorb those calories. Now, even the special RS4 grams of fiber, they also have 0.4 calories per gram. Regular carbs, they have 4. To keep it really simple, because they're not going to list the insoluble fiber, soluble fiber, and so on, the easiest way to do this is to count all grams of fiber as having 2 calories per gram. That makes it easy. When you consume the food, especially when you're on a diet, your body can actually absorb those calories. As you can see in these Mission Carb Balance wraps that Sam Sulek's going to consume, there's 17 grams of fiber per. It's a lot. And so 17 grams of fiber, it isn't 0 calories. Multiply 17 times 2, you'll notice it's now 34. And so at the top, you see it says only 70 calories. It's actually 104. Are you understanding this? Does it make sense to you? And notice the nutrition label companies, they want to deceive you. How do you think they're selling these wraps? They're making it look like they have less calories than the regular. And how do they do that? They put in a ton of fiber and label the calories as 0. And so when Sam buys these wraps, he sees 3.5 grams of fat, 6 grams of protein. He thinks there's only 2 grams of carbs. Wow, that is amazing. I get to eat all this delicious bread and I don't absorb any of those extra calories? This fits my diet, only it doesn't. It's a trick. Now, I'm not saying it's not better than just having straight regular carbs. The fiber has less calories than regular carbs, but it's not 0. And so if you count it as 2, as in half, that is going to give you an accurate representation.
Dietary fiber, and this specifically, the insoluble portion, is what I'm looking for.
Do you know how disgusting it would be to eat a bread, a wrap with only insoluble fiber, the lowest calories possible? Just picture it. You get some sawdust, you got your tree bark, and you blend in, you put it in the blender, you blend in the sawdust. It's going to be very difficult for you to absorb those calories, insoluble fiber. But it's not going to taste like bread. And so if it actually tastes like bread, it kind of is. Does that make sense to you? Are you learning something?
That's 80 calories of carbs in each one of these. That's a lot. For me to have 3 of these is going to put me at 60 grams of carbs.
And so remember, he's eating 3 of these. He's thinking, imagine the calories that I'm saving. Well, he is saving some, but he has to add 3 times the 34 calories. That's just over 100 calories back into his diet. And so when he stated, I'm on a 2,200 calorie diet, it's actually 2,300. Now, it's not that big a deal. What really matters is calories in, calories out. And if he wasn't losing weight eating 3 wraps, clearly he could just eat 2. It really is that simple, but I do want you to understand the calories that go into your body.
That dietary fiber, which it doesn't say here, but is insoluble, that doesn't count Like it counts barely, like 0.1%.
He'd be closer if he said, hey, the fiber, it doesn't all count, perhaps just 50%. Remember, unless it's RS4, resistance fiber type 4, 0.4 calories per gram. Now, if it's resistant starch type 2, RS2, it has 2 calories per gram. However, when you heat it up, it then goes to 4 calories per gram. And so can you see how hard it actually is for people to track calories? Do you understand why I make my videos so simple? How many people watching this do you think are actually going to understand this? But what I do think you can understand is this. Whatever it says for fiber grams on that low calorie bread that you have, double that, multiply it by 2, and then add that to the calories listed at the top. That's going to be far more accurate. Have I helped you?
Thank you, Greg.
Even though it's 19 grams of carbs total, really I'm only getting those 2, which usually I kind of round up to 3 or so just to be safe.
And so to be safe, rather than rounding it up to 3, add in half of the fiber that's listed. And so, Sam, if you're adding in your grams of fiber and you see the number 17, divide that, 8.5, add that to your total.
This, I wouldn't say has been a lifesaver, but it's definitely a creature comfort. 15 grams, so a teaspoon.
It's not a teaspoon. There's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. People often get that wrong. A tablespoon has 35 calories, 15 grams, and about 3.5 grams of fat. They actually have ultralight or fat-free mayo. You can save even more calories. Typically, you're going to have around 15 to 20 calories per tablespoon. And so depending on your calorie needs and how strict you have to go, you can go from having regular mayo to light mayo to fat-free mayo.
I'm going to look for some ketchup. Yeah, this is the kicker right there. No sugar added.
And so no sugar added ketchup. I have the same one in the fridge. It's only got 10 calories per tablespoon rather than 20. And so you're saving on 50% of those calories. Now, they do make a lower one in calories, only 5 calories. But in my opinion, it's not worth the taste. Sometimes you have to splurge a little, live a little. The extra 5 calories in that tablespoon, to me, it's worth it.
Weighed out, of course.
And trust me, if you don't weigh this shit out, a lot of times you're going to have way more than you think. You're thinking calories in ketchup, it's only 10. There, I'll add that. But what you don't realize is using a quarter of a cup, which is 40 calories, not 10. And so imagine how often this happens when people are having their mayonnaise on their sandwiches, the peanut butter on their sandwiches, thinking, oh, it's only a tablespoon. It's not a big deal. What if it was 4?
Throughout the day, it adds up. It's right here. Like it's in these little sneaky parts. The sauces and the condiments.
And the fiber that they don't count as calories on labels because they want to deceive you.
Like if you want to get into it, you almost have to go all the way. Because if you don't, then you're not actually going to reap the benefits.
Yeah, there's no point in playing just a tip. If you want to get into it, you got to go all over the way. Always remember to Turk Max on her stomach.
You know, if you diet half as hard as you should, you're not going to get as lean as you should or half as lean as you want to be.
AKA Mike is gel. Remember, he only tanned half as hard as he should have. It had nothing to do with his diet.
The nice thing about the mustard is it's already 0 calories. There's freaking nothing in here but some vinegar and a ground up mustard seed.
Important to tell Sam that the labels, they're allowed to round down to 0. So even though it says 0, it doesn't mean it's 0. This is very tricky in spices and so on, where they'll put a serving size as a quarter teaspoon, basically a flake, and they round it down to 0. And so let's say there's 4 calories in that serving. They can put 0. Imagine doing that. You can quickly see that if you put a lot of this, it could be 50, maybe even 100 calories when you think that it's none.
Sometimes instead of like, you know, some kind of random energy drink in the morning, I don't mind using like a cold brew concentrate with like some just stevia kind of sweetener. So actually I might grab some of that. So concentration, 2 grams of carbs though. Damn. Is any of this like just legit 0?
No offense, but if you're avoiding a drink because there's 2 grams of carbs in the entire thing, to me, that's a little bit too much. 2 grams of carbs in that drink, let's call it 10 calories versus 0. It's probably not going to matter. Did you actually know that you burn more than 10 calories when you drink a liter of water because you're raising the temperature of the water to your body temperature? And so by simply drinking the water itself, you're likely burning off more calories than it consumes inside.
If all I want is the caffeine, I can just grab a caffeine capsule out of like the vitamin cabinet.
Now, rather than having these cold brews and coffees and so on, you can just drink pre-workout that's specifically designed to increase your workout efficiency and so on, it's not just the stimulants. There's, for example, beta-alanine that's scientifically been shown to improve your performance. There's L-citrulline and many other things to help you work out harder than last time. So if you're interested in pre-workouts, GO2 Max, Turk Builder, creatine, we got it all. Get to the website, code Greg, 15% off.
No Cinnamon Toast Crunch, no Krispy Kreme, which I didn't even run into any today.
He's actually eating on a diet.
And if you're really smart about it, you don't even get a bowl. All you do is crack the top, drain it, add a condiment into the can itself. At the end of it, you throw the whole thing away.
And so he's got his canned chicken as well. If you want canned chicken, tuna, you name it, these are all going to be beneficial. Sometimes it's about efficiency, about getting it very quickly. If it takes you 20 or 30 minutes to cook your meal, you might not do it. You might just grab that donut. I see nothing wrong with picking up quick and easy to eat meals that are high in protein.
Ground beef, lean steak, some deli turkey, some canned chicken, some low-carb tortillas, whole bunch of egg whites.
Now, here's the thing. I've watched this video. Where are the fruit and vegetables? Is Sam Sulek on a carnivore diet? I saw no strawberries, apples, kiwis, blueberries. I saw no antioxidants, nothing. There's no lettuce, spinach. Why not? Did asparagus do something to you? Why aren't we eating any fruits and vegetables?
Cardio is no longer 30 minutes of just sitting down on the bike. I want to add a little more. I need an extended period of time that I'm going to be elevating my heart rate.
And so after talking to Jay Cutler, he realizes, I got to step things up. I'm only doing 30 minutes on the recumbent bike. I'm not really pushing myself. I need to up the ante. It's not like Sam Sulek is racing Coach Greg on a Zwift racing bike. If Sam Sulek were riding as hard as Coach Greg, 30 minutes would be more than enough. He simply needs to do it longer. He doesn't need to go harder, but he does need to go longer. That's what she said. You know what this could help you with? Harder than last time. Code Greg, 15% off.
For me to do an hour on the bike, it just ends up thrashing my quads.
I don't know what to tell you, but hey, it thrashes his quads. I believe him. And so what he's going to do is he's going to walk on an incline treadmill and mix things up. Coach Greg can ride an hour on the bike every single day. It does nothing to my legs whatsoever. Unless I'm pushing hard, perhaps zone 3, 4, and 5 cardio, I can do an hour to an hour and a half of the bike every single day, and I feel just fine.
And that's an argument I've seen against the cardio bike, is it's all quads. Which it is.
But it isn't. It's not all quads. If you have a pedal where you're clamped in, it's going to be the quads, hamstrings, as well as the glutes. In particular, if you do in fact stand up off of the bike, it's going to engage your upper body and a lot more of your glutes. And so why not mix things up? Change the resistance setting. Pick up the pace a little bit. Do interval training. You don't have to go all that hard, but if you mix things up, you can most certainly use your entire body while riding that bike.
Calorie-wise, 250 grams of protein, 70-ish of fats, about 150 grams of carbs, but I'm going to start to have to drop that down.
Wait till he finds out that the fiber that he's eating actually has 50% of the calories as carbs.
And I wouldn't recommend you eat a ton of these. They can kind of mess with your stomach a touch, but some carb smart buns as well. So look at these numbers here. Per bun, so 21 grams of carbs, but 18 grams of fiber. So really 3 grams of carbs.
Let us practice what we've now learned. It has 21 grams of carbs, but 18 grams of fiber. And so 21 minus 18 is 3 times 4. That's 12 calories from the carbs. But there's 18 grams of fiber. Remember, 2 calories per gram, 2 times 18, that's 36. So whatever it says, add on 36 calories, and that makes it about accurate.
That's going in the cart.
And so that's going in the cart.
Now my next stop would be to the diet soda aisle to get a couple 2 liters of whatever. But I've already got like 6 2 liters of Diet Sprite sitting in my cupboard.
Sam is a fan of Diet Pop on his diet. Now, you may have heard the World Health Organization has put aspartame on class 2B as a possible carcinogenic. But what does that actually mean? All it means is they don't have definitive proof that it doesn't cause cancer. Do you know what else is on that list on the same exact category? Aloe vera. And so if you're concerned that Diet Pop is going to cause you cancer, you better well be throwing away your aloe vera. Now, what are things that are worse? Alcohol, for example, 1 beer, 1 glass of wine, it's in class 1, as in it is carcinogenic. It's literally poison. Now, Mike Isertel, who you all respect, what a great, wonderful man. Now, he went out and said that it would be healthier to have 1 or 2 glasses of wine than to not. Why would that be? Well, the 3 hours of relaxation that you get, well, it's going to de-stress your body. Really. And so he recommends we consume poison daily, of which it's addictive. And then what happens if you get addicted to drinking that alcohol? You start drinking more. All because it can relax you for 3 hours. That is Mike Israetel's advice. I'm not making this shit up. He actually stated this.
If you have 1 or 2 glasses of wine a night, most nights, statistically it has almost no effect on anything negative-wise. It has maybe some curious positives here and there.
Really?
Yeah, sure, like cardiac health and stuff like that. A little bit of alcohol, that 3 hours every day of super relaxed being is such a huge health-promoting factor that the alcohol to get you there is worth the trade-off.
I was hoping it was AI generated, but it turned out Mike actually said this, and he meant it. He's not clowning. He's not joking. People are saying, oh, can't you tell when he's joking? He wasn't joking. 1 to 2 glasses of wine. He explained why it was beneficial. It's not.
Thank you, Greg.
Hopefully you enjoyed this educational video where I never made fun of Mike Israetel, never had any drama whatsoever, just giving you the facts. Hopefully you learned something about fiber and how to lose more weight than last time. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. And of course, you all know it, the cookbooks, the training books, the Circle diet book, my life's work, how to lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life. And if you have no money, get the free diet and training program. It's free. We've given over 100,000 of these away for absolutely no cost to you whatsoever. You can also get the clothing line on the website and become one of the 400,000 plus newsletter subscribers. And so head to the website right away and don't forget to enter code Greg for 15% off. And until next time, I am out.